everybody. We are doing this thing. We are here. Thank you all for coming out. Jersey City Tech Meetup is back. It's a really hot day today. I don't know about you guys, but I sweat a little bit coming in here. So I appreciate you making your way out despite the heat. Excuse me, we can wrap up all the conversations. We're just gonna get started for a little bit here. You're gonna learn a lot of really cool stuff and meet some cool people. So I appreciate if I could have your attention just for a little bit here. Cool. All right, everybody, welcome to the Jersey City Tech Meetup. This is the official relaunch event. I'm very excited about this. For those of you who have been here, or maybe you've never been here before, this community has been around for almost 10 years now, believe it or not. And it's kind of, I let it get a little stagnant the last couple of years, but we actually, me and my partner, Frank Casal, we actually did a couple events across the whole world recently, and I figured, you know what, let me just throw a happy hour in Jersey City and see if anyone still shows up and see if people still want this. And I did a happy hour at Pet Shop, and I came out and then I talked to people and they're like, you know, ever since you stopped doing events, there's not really anything like this in Jersey City anymore. There's not this like tech meetup and tech ecosystem. Everything's in New York and we gotta travel and get there. And I just talked to more and more people and realized there's a real need for this community and ecosystem. I've always loved doing these events. I'm really passionate about the fact that there's things happening on this side of the river. So, you know, I decided to relaunch this thing, rebrand it, and we're coming back. Now it's kind of gonna be, yeah, come on everybody, Jersey City Tech Meetup's back. And I don't want this just to be like, oh, if you're a techie, you get to come here. I want this to be really for everyone who's a techie, business, creative. I want this to be a hub of art and culture. I just want it to be a place that everyone can come and learn about what's happening in business and support each other and really grow together. So really excited about this. We got a full house. This is amazing. So thanks y'all for coming out. Just got a few things and we're gonna jump into a panel, which I'm very excited about. So who's new to the Jersey City Tech Meetup? Let's get a show of hands here. Almost everybody. Round of applause, y'all. Come on. And I see some familiar faces. Who's been here before? Who's part of this? All right, welcome back, everybody, to the new ones and the ones who've been around for a bit. So grateful for y'all and for this community. And one other question I'd like to ask, just to like get a feel for who's coming out, especially in this heat. Who came from the furthest away today, they think? In the back, where'd you come from?
I came from Massachusetts.
Wow, that is a hot walk all the way from Massachusetts. Oh my goodness. Well, I appreciate it. Anyone came from further than Massachusetts? No? All right, well, congrats. You win a bowl of penne vodka sauce. All right, appreciate it. So thanks for coming out, everyone. Just a few things. I actually want to start, I know I'm gonna, she's not gonna like this, but I want to introduce Amari to everyone. She is the newest member of the Jersey City Tech Meetup, and a lot of the things kind of that go behind the scenes and put the event together are not as easy as they look, and she helped make it all possible. So whatever you see on social media, she's probably behind it. And just wanted to say, welcome Amari to the team. You're awesome. Couple other things. We are starting a newsletter, the Jersey City Monthly. We're doing a monthly newsletter starting at the end of this month, and we're just going to kind of cover what's happening in Jersey City, what people are building, kind of what the businesses are doing, what the latest and greatest tech is. So expect that. If you're attending here today, you're on the list for the newsletter. You can opt out. I hope you don't, but you can. And so stay tuned for that. We're really excited to launch that newsletter and just kind of keep something going besides just these events. Because as much as I love the events, there's only so many you can do. So I want to keep everyone engaged and keep things going on. So before we get into our program, I would like to thank a few sponsors. One is this space right here, Andco, who is awesome. We've done many events with them at the other space. Round of applause for John and Andco. Johnny, come up and say, you can do a little plug. We've done a lot of events with Andco before. Most of our events have been at their other space. Some people, I think, showed up to that tonight. Sorry you had to come here afterwards, but that's okay. This spot's really cool, too. Thanks, John, for hosting us.
Thank you, Ben. Welcome, everyone. Actually, I want to know how many people have been in this space before? Wow, cool. Well, if you guys aren't familiar, we're a co-working space. We have 2 locations. This location opened up in October, so it's very, very new. We have private offices, we have private desks. We go all the way down to a day pass, many different types of membership. But if you're looking for a place that has Wi-Fi, we have coffee, we have 5 different conference rooms, phone booths. There's a whole nother lounge in the back past the bathrooms if you guys do want to explore. We're looking for new people, cool people, definitely people involved in the tech industry. So if you have any questions after this, feel free to talk to me. I'll give you some more info. Thanks for coming.
All right. I also forgot to mention, if you get any pictures or videos from this event tonight, be sure to tag us, JC Tech Meetup, LinkedIn and Instagram, and we'll reshare it with our network. So also, thanks to Brightside Tavern for those delicious trays of food. They almost spilt on the way here as we were carrying them, but we didn't give up, all right? We were persistent and we got that here, and it's delicious. So shout out to Brightside Tavern. I hope you all enjoy it. And also my other ventures, which is the Generative AI Network. I gotta give myself a little plug here. Basically, we have a global network of 150,000 members. We help people with their AI strategy, with sales and marketing, and anything you really need. We have a small team that can get it done. So if you're interested in anything AI, let's talk. All right, we're almost there, everybody, I promise. Okay, this is one last thing before we get into the panel. This is what I've done at all the other events, and this is pretty fun and engaging. I like to open the mic for about 5 minutes. If anyone has something they want to share, 30 seconds or less, I'm going to hold the mic because some people really love it and like to talk a lot. So it's going to be 30 seconds or less. If you have an upcoming event, if you've got a business you want to pitch, if you're looking for a co-founder, whatever you want, this is where I make it interactive for anyone who would like to share something. Yeah, you can just stand up and just shout it, actually. Or, come on up here. Come on, get on up here. Get on up here. Come on, everybody.
Alright, so I was going to share with you at the next event. So I also have a community in North New Jersey called New Jersey Code and Coffee. We have a monthly meetup for people in tech in Newark at 550 Broad Street. Next one's at July 12th. Find us on Meetup, New Jersey Code and Coffee. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Round of applause, everybody. There's a lot of people in this room. I'm sure y'all got something. Hey, Johnny. Everyone give it up for Johnny. If these were portable, I would bring them to you. But
Oh, I love standing up here with you. You get to.
no.
I'm Janny Wolf. I have an art gallery in Hoboken that is also a community space. And for the person in Massachusetts, I want to talk with you because I'm developing a project in Massachusetts for an art and community center on a historic site. And it needs lots and lots of wonderful people to get involved, including people in the tech industry. And it's going to be a community-based project. So please, whoever is from Massachusetts, I didn't see who you were, please introduce yourself. And anyone else who's interested, let me know. I'm in Jersey City Heights, and then I also have an art gallery in Hoboken.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. Oh,
The gallery is named Yes Gallery. It doesn't have its own website or anything, but if you look up my name, Janny Wolf, that's WOLFF, JANNIE is my first name, and it's Yes Gallery Hoboken.
all right. Thank you. We got room for one or two more. Come on over. Everyone give it up for Alicia.
Hey guys, my name's Alessia. I'm the owner of Beyond the Plate Food Tours. I'm a member here at Andco, which is the best co-working space, just saying. We actually have an event on Friday at Tala Disco. Aside from eating delicious food, I love to dance and listen to good music, so that's happening. But also we do food tours in the Heights, downtown, Somerville, and Red Bank, and we do corporate and private events. So if you love food, drinking, eating, like, you know, exploring cities, Beyond the Plate Food Tours.
Thank you. Round of applause. And she was also on one of our foodie events for the Jersey City Tech Meetup. That was an awesome event. So, all right, we got two more here. You come on up. 30 seconds or less.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Pranav. Nice to meet you. It's been a pleasure to meet some of you guys. I'm working on building a startup. We're in the early founding stage. We're looking for co-founders. And this startup is specifically meant to train AI models using proper security data so we can reduce the amount of vulnerabilities in present AI systems.
Awesome. All right. And we'll have a little bit of networking after the panel as well, so we can all connect and figure out who's who afterwards. All right, last one. Thank you so much.
Hi, so my name is Shiraz. I really wasn't planning on talking here, so I haven't prepared anything. But anyway, I mean, also in the early stages of founding a startup that's at the intersection of AI and nonprofits. So if you have an idea about how to help nonprofits, how to help them be more productive, do more things, more quickly, using AI automation specifically, please talk to me. So my name is Shiraz.
All right, thanks so much, Shiraz. I'm going to talk to you after, actually. I'm working on something with nonprofits. We'll talk. All right, well, without further ado, I'm really excited about this panel. So first of all, shout out to just round of applause for everyone being here, for everyone who came up and spoke. So thank you all. Very excited about this panel because I kind of wanted this one as the relaunch event to be a little bit of a mix. Not pure tech, not pure business, but a little bit of tech, a little bit of business, a little bit of art and culture, all the things that make Jersey City great. So we have all those perspectives on this panel. Very excited about it. I'd like to introduce Angelo, John, and Janet up to the stage. And John is gonna help with the second mic, which I think works. And we're gonna do a little musical chairs with these microphones. Everyone give it up for our panel.
Tip, tip.
All righty, very exciting. So I have a few things prepared. We're gonna have a nice conversation, then I want to open up to anyone who has questions because we have a lot of really wonderful minds up here, so very exciting. I would like to kind of kick off with a little just brief introduction so everyone gets a sense of who you are and kind of what you're working on, and then we'll jump into some questions from there. So maybe Janet, if you want to kick us off.
Sounds good. Hi everyone, my name is Janet Alicea and I'm a proud Jersey City resident. Woohoo! Yeah. Anyway, I'm also a B2B marketer working in fintech, marketing enterprise software and SaaS solutions, but I've been going to networking events for years, but I've always feel like I have to travel over to New York to do so. And last summer, I had the opportunity to travel and go to Central Park and attend my first tech walk. And I was so taken with the idea that you could get this group of people together and connect them and go for walks and really develop just kind of meaningful connections with them. And I said, we need this here in Jersey City. So we launched our first tech walk in April, and we're having a monthly cadence, and it's been a great opportunity to really showcase and learn more about the community here.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Angelo.
Awesome.
Welcome
Well,
back.
Ben, good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
We hosted a tech meetup at our office in 2019. So I can't believe it's been almost 6 years now since the last time we've had a Jersey City meetup that I've been a part of. But a little bit about me. So Angelo Shacratano, co-founder and CEO of a company called Apprentice. We are over in Exchange Place now. We are formerly over on Christopher Columbus, and we're now at a much bigger office. But I started a company that we focus on what we now have as a agentic AI platform for manufacturing. Focus a lot on, say, like life sciences. So started the company over 10 years ago. I actually was born and raised here in Jersey City, way before it was cool. But we've gone on now, we've raised over $200 million in venture. The company's grown quite a bit. But most importantly, we've now launched a lot of the cutting edge agentic AI tools in manufacturing. So we're thinking a lot now about how are these tools going to impact people who make things, which I think will be a really interesting part of the conversation. But excited that Jersey City Meetup is back. I'm out in the burbs now, so don't hold that against me. But it's nice.
Your office is still here.
Yeah, the office is still here, and I just came from we had the whole company from around the world in the last 2 days, so really nice to have them here in Jersey City.
Wonderful. Appreciate you being here. And John.
Hello everyone, my name is John Tokar. I'm from Bayonne, New Jersey, born and raised. I live in Jersey City now. Hey, what's going on? Vocals only. I am the director of Andco Co-working. Like I said, we have 2 locations. Maybe you guys have been to a tech meetup at our other location, Andco Grove. Pre-COVID, we were having these pretty often. And it's nice that we finally got it going, that there's all these people here. But yeah, I specialize in co-working, creating collaboration, but I'm also an artist. I guess as a hobby, it's fun to do. But again, I'm not a tech guy. I don't really know too much about AI, but I'm sure I have some fun things to say. But as far as art, this is my painting over here, just to give you guys an idea, just real quick. That is I call it Sunrise Surprise. I also collaborated with Shimona Stokes right here. Shimona is the director of an art studio space called Elevator a block away. We worked very closely on making these ceramic lights around the room. So our space is very much made up of creatives. We take it very seriously as far as the way we do things, the way we operate, and where we look into the future. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy y'all are here. Got a lot of different things we want to cover. I want to start with Angelo. I want to start with something about why New Jersey's awesome, because Jersey boy through and through. But I would say, you've created a very successful business based out of New Jersey. A lot of people think you got to be in New York or Silicon Valley to do these things. So I want to get your perspective. What are some of the benefits and challenges of kind of setting up shop in Jersey, and how's that been for you?
Yeah, first off, we're not in Ohio. So it's like, this is Jersey City. Jersey City has become the 6th borough of Manhattan. And this will only be an inhibitor if you let it be one. And the way that we approach it, the way that I approach it is literally when I was fundraising, I would scoff just like that. I'd make the same silly joke. But the point is, in New Jersey, we have access to an extraordinary amount of talent and potential customers. So when we got started, we were focusing primarily on life sciences. And fun fact, there's 3,000 pharma and biotech companies here in the state. So for what we do, there's no better place in the country for getting access to our customers. In the early days, it was just me, my co-founder, and my credit card. I would just drive to these customers to hopefully let them bring me in the front door and maybe one day let me make some drugs. The good kind, not the now legal kind in New Jersey.
Yes, all the same people.
Yes. But what's interesting though is it's not just customer access, it's actual talent access. And what's happened, especially in Jersey City, is we've seen a movement of people moving from Manhattan to Brooklyn to Jersey City or the surrounding area or even out in the suburbs. Yes, there's a lot of talent in the suburbs too, myself included. The point though is that when you approach fundraising from this perspective and you tell this story, the same story I'm telling you now, which is, no, we're not Ohio, we're right next to Manhattan, and oh, by the way, you can drive 20 minutes from Newark Airport to our office. All of a sudden it removes all the concern and risk around, say, just raising money. Because we have really large investors from the Valley and here in New York, and as long as they understand that, wait a second, New Jersey is actually a contributing factor to our growth, and we can then de-risk the company by accessing talent here in New Jersey, or people who live in Manhattan, or people who live out in the burbs, combined with the fact that it's frankly convenient for them to fly into Newark Airport. It's kind of a big deal because they can fly into Newark, come to our office, and then what typically happens, they'll have a board meeting and then drive into Manhattan. So the whole point is that there's no reason whatsoever to feel as if New Jersey or Jersey City is some inhibiting factor for raising capital, starting a company, scaling a company, or whatever it ends up being, especially in tech. And that's my big thing is that, yes, in the early days I didn't really have my talk track. I didn't really know what to say or how to say it. But if you guys just literally copy and steal what I just said when you're raising money or when you're thinking about hiring talent or convincing customers, like, wait, why would I work with or work for or give money to a company in New Jersey? Well, it's because there's a lot of incredible things going on here. And so, we've proved that you can raise a lot of money from the top funds in the country. And I just hope that inspires anyone here in the crowd, because I just believe that New Jersey is such a unique place to build a company, because you have this beautiful relationship between, access to talent, like I mentioned, customers, et cetera. But then there's just this level of humility that I think people who both we've hired, what we work with, and just generally the culture here inspires and creates an environment in which you can build something but not lose your head either. And I just think it's just a special place to be. I think a lot of cool things are happening here and being built here, and so I'm really excited to see that many people showed up here at the meetup 6 years later.
Same here. I appreciate that. Kind of just piggybacking off that, John, would love to hear from you, as someone who hosts a community space in Jersey with a second location now, so obviously more and more people are coming here. What's your sense as far as kind of what some of the people are building, whether it's the creative side, the business side, what's the vibe of Andco in Jersey?
Thank you. I do find that we do have a lot of startups in our space. Again, if you guys are looking for partners or people to collaborate with, co-working spaces, even if it's not this one, is a great place to meet people. But as far as how creativity is shaping the future, I find that all cities have a unique character. It's kind of the reason why we move to them. You're not moving out to the middle of nowhere. You're going to these cultural hubs. And like you were saying, we're considered the sixth borough. I'm not too fond of that just because I'm from New Jersey. I don't want to really be looped in with the whole NYC.
That's what I tell
Yeah, it's a good marketing ploy. But the cool thing about Jersey City is that we're kind of open game, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean like we have the ability, the people in this room, to set up foundations in a city that may not have those businesses, that unique culture, that character yet. So I do find like it's a very fertile ground for building new businesses.
Absolutely. And like you're saying, it's great to come out to co-working spaces to connect with people, because in a more and more digital world, more and more AI, Zoom calls, you got to get out there and actually talk to people and come to events like these and network and meet. So I think that community element is really important as well. And we'd love to hear from you, Jen. You do a spin on networking and community building and human connection. It's not just, hey, let's come sit around and talk. You're like, let's go for a walk, even on a 100-degree day, and network and do that, because you just went for a walk today, because that's how committed you are to it. So tell me about what that kind of says to, I guess, the human connection here and what people are looking for.
Well, thanks for that question, and I really love it because I think more and more what's happening is we're seeing this need for people to get away from their screens and engage with others in real life. But it's more than that. I think what's happening with people is that they want to go to these networking events, they want to meet other people, but it has to be on their terms. They want it to be in their community, not just necessarily travel over to an event that's happening in New York or somewhere else. They also want it to be interests that are relative to them, whether it be walking, for example. I'm fanatical about getting my 10,000 steps in every day. I've been doing that, for a long time by myself. If there's an opportunity for me to connect with someone and get those steps in, most of the time, I'm going to grab it. So what I'm finding is that there are other people that are in the same boat, and that there are organizations, especially here in Jersey City, that are developing apps and programs that bring people together in different vibes and settings. For example, there's an app called Bunch, and it allows people to meet at a pub and meet and play board games, etc. So it's really kind of people wanting to get out, but not necessarily having that comfort level yet, and looking for those things that really resonate with them in order to build those connections that really are more meaningful because of the fact that you have that, those affiliations and those affinities.
Wonderful. I couldn't agree more. So that's a great start. And now that we talked about how much we love Jersey and getting together with people, let's talk about AI a little bit. We got to do it, because everyone I talk to, whether it's networking or even just friends, everyone is getting involved with AI. They either are using it every day or have an AI startup or are doing something with it. So I want to kind of get a sense, maybe start with Angelo, about, there's so many different questions I could ask, but what I want to start with is, what are some of the trends you're seeing now in business and kind of over the next 5 years? Well, what are you seeing in this space that's real versus just fluff?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go back in time in order to go forward in time. So we named the company Apprentice 10 years ago because 10 years ago I had a simple belief, a simple thesis that one day humans were going to work with some type of intelligent system to create an outcome that neither the humans nor machines alone could do. It was a simple premise, and hence the name Apprentice, because the whole belief of the company, which we'll fast forward to in a moment and now carry us into the future, is that I didn't believe that software was going to replace humans. I felt that software was going to help support humans. And in my world, it's manufacturing. So what is my lane? It's anything that's made. And so we produce everything from, on the life sciences side, all of the top GLP-1s, so the weight loss drugs, to we produce like 300 million doses of the COVID vaccine with our software, to the CRISPR-based therapies for personalized medicine. And when people need to work with their two hands, when they need to work in manufacturing, I always just felt very strongly, and even more strongly today, which is a lead into the AI, that humans need a complementary and supportive tool, not a tool to replace. And so the approach that we're taking to this And we've now actually just yesterday launched a whole new brand and website alongside all of our new agentic AI tools, and I'll define that here in a minute. But we're taking a specific stance. And the stance is 10 years later, we're still staying true to this belief system that we're not using AI, and specifically we're leveraging AI agents, and again, I'll define that in a second, to support manufacturing teams and people, not to replace them. And so you might ask yourself, well, how is that possible? We read these stories on AI. There's a lot of AI doomerism going on right now, obviously. And so the approach that we're taking to this is we first started last year with generative AI tools in manufacturing. What does that mean? Most of you obviously are very familiar with ChatGPT, Anthropic, Grok, whatever, and it's Q&A style. I ask a question, I get an answer back. And so the first thing we did was, when people are on the shop floor or in manufacturing, these are very bright people. This is not what you may think of when you think of manufacturing, these blue collar people that are uneducated, that don't have a high school degree or whatever it is. It's not true. That form of manufacturing, especially in the United States, has radically changed, 2 decades, 3 decades on. The people that are in manufacturing now, especially in life sciences, for example, have PhDs, master degrees, are incredibly intelligent, educated, and skilled. And so if you're in this environment and you're that type of worker, having access and context to what you're working on is really critical. So the first thing we did, which is very simple, is provided a co-pilot so that when you're in manufacturing, you're on the shop floor, you ask questions. What's going on in my manufacturing process? Have there been exceptions? What did the prior shift do? What do I have to do for the next 6 hours? How are these values trending? And we started with just a very simple kind of context-aware, generative Q&A, step one. But if we want to deliver on this vision of being able to have an intelligent piece of software that sits alongside humans, the AI needs to take action. It has to do things. And so we built out and launched about 3 months ago now our agentic AI capabilities, which now these AI agents can take action. And what they now do is, first off, very simply, if you're trying to create a manufacturing process digitally, right now you type it by hand. It's super annoying, it takes a long time. And so instead you use these agents where they can either go from paper, from a prompt, from XML, whatever, and they'll automatically extract all the content, digitize it, and there's supervisory agents that are adversarial with each other, and they'll conflict to then create a digital recipe for manufacturing. But in addition to that, that's just like, okay, we're getting digital now. This gets into this kind of vision for how we see humans and AI working together, is the AI agents can then also take action in manufacturing. So what does that mean? So oftentimes when biologics drugs are made, so these are the COVID vaccine or your GLP-1s or whatever, there's a lot of parts in the process where humans are monitoring manufacturing. They're not physically touching or interacting. So right now it's a manual process. I sit there, I capture some data, I read some values, and I adapt. But that's a pretty low value task for a very skilled worker. So again, skilled worker, low value task, just sitting there, standing there, monitoring data. So the agents can do this. The agents can then capture this data, monitor it, and then take action and make a decision. So we've built it out now is that the agent will monitor some value, you'll see a trend line, you'll see it get to a point where there's a decision tree. The AI agent will then make a decision to turn on a piece of equipment, say a bioreactor agitator, and it'll run, say like dissolved oxygen up to a certain level and then turn it off again, and then let the human know that, hey, Bob, time to take over and do your job. And the whole point is this, what we think is going to happen next, now bridging into the next 5-10 years, is that the AI agents, at least in manufacturing, I can't speak to other industries, I just know manufacturing very well, is that just like lean manufacturing, I don't know if you've heard of lean manufacturing or even lean startups and lean everything now, the whole focus was always on identifying waste and low value processes that then you try to come up with a better process, automation or whatever, and get rid of it. And so that's the same way we're thinking that agents will take over for the next easily 1 to 5 years. Because the tool set is just not good enough yet, especially in a highly regulated, highly critical world that if you make a mistake, not only are you losing a batch, you might be killing a patient, which is very, very bad. Don't want to do that. So the way that we're thinking about this is that these AI agents will automate out parts of the process to sit alongside the human, and then the human will be redeployed to focus on higher value tasks, just like the whole basic concept of lean manufacturing is to begin with. Right. And so it's a really interesting evolution, but the whole point is that it's going to go from Q&A to action, and then in September, because this is moving so unbelievably fast, we're going to be launching our predictive agents, which you can kind of guess what they'll do. Then shortly after that, we'll be launching our physical AI agents, which you could probably guess what they're going to do too. Not humanoid. I have very
Not
strong,
yet, but
I have a
we'll
very
cover
strong
that
opinion
too.
about humanoid, and so ask me later. But
Yeah.
hopefully it gives some context on how we've thought about this for 10 years, the tooling that we're using, and what we believe the next at least 5 years, because it's so hard to predict this right now, start to look like. But humans will still be there. They're just going to work on higher value tasks.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. It's like a lot of people fear that AI will take your job, and sure, some jobs will be taken away, but it's also going to complement and help people focus on things that are actual meaningful and high impact, like you're saying. And also just looking at AI like an actual worker, right? Yeah. Right now it's kind of Q&A. A lot of people use ChatGPT. How many people here use ChatGPT? Okay, just about everyone. So a lot of it's a conversation back and forth, but like you're saying with the Gentic, the way it's going is that it can actually act as a worker that can be there to support you.
So we actually call them digital coworkers.
Right.
So we brand it as that, but more than that, we actually treat all the roles, permissions, capabilities, tasks, and actions that these things can take, just like a human. So you go into a piece of software and you manage a user, right? I'm sure you're all used to this. You log in, you type in your email, whatever, and you give it roles, permissions, etc. We treat the agents identically. So they have a constrained set of capabilities, a constrained set of what processes they can work on or not. And so we treat them like coworkers, but we treat them like an apprentice, meaning they're not very smart yet. And
Exactly.
We're training them, we're teaching them, but they are meant to support a human, not replace. That is the very clear stake in the ground that we're taking on this. Now that we're deploying these out across the world, across major manufacturing facilities and everything else. So
Great. No, thank you for that. John, would love to the segue into the artist perspective. This is what I would like to hear from you a little bit about your take on, I guess there's a lot of people putting out AI art nowadays and videos and things like that. So curious from first of all, from an artist perspective, how that's impacting your work or if you're leveraging it, and then B, just if you're using AI for anything related to Andco and kind of running a community space.
Sure. I do not use AI for my art. I know there's a lot of artists in the world who are worried about AI taking their jobs. I don't feel that way. For me, when I go out and I'm looking at art, yeah, I get blown away by the image. But for me, what's really important is who made the image. It's going to the gallery, it's meeting those people, realizing that this was made by a human who has the same values, has grown up maybe similar to me. Maybe I could see part of my life in that. And for me, that's not something I worry about, AI taking away. I am a doomer when it comes to AI. Is anyone else a doomer? Interesting. Okay, feel free to correct me after this, but I'm very concerned. I think we're about to deal with something that our civilization, our species has never dealt before. That's meeting something that's more intelligent than us. I always thought it would be maybe one day aliens are going to land and we're going to have to deal with that problem then, but it's more like it's going to happen in the AI. It's going to be the first time we're dealing with something that we cannot predict what it's going to do. And the other scary part of this is our civilization is made up of stories. It's the stories we tell each other. What kind of culture do we have? Who we are? Who am I? Who are the others? These are the stories that you're told when you're growing up, and that makes up who you are. And now we have something coming along that's a storytelling. It's telling its own stories. A lot of those storytelling aspects are parameters that we're giving it. So I'm also very cautious about what I'm asking the AI to do. Even the lies and the rumors that we're loading it, either whether that be from news or other outlets, those are going to be parameters that make up its reality, and that reality is based on our stories. So we have, in a weird way, something hijacking the way we work, like how human beings operate. So for me, like our software is the stories we tell each other, our mythology. That's our subconscious. That's what makes us who we are. And now we have something coming into the mix that I don't know if we're all thinking about it this way, especially when we're coming down to, is it a tool or is it a person? And when we start giving these things agency, when we start going, this model, this language model is conscious, or vice versa, saying, this thing that's conscious, all of you, I can model it. So now we're getting on this weird playing field where we're going to be asking ourselves questions about what it means to be human. If we can model our consciousness, maybe we'll be able to merge with these machines. I can definitely see that happen in the next few years. And for me, that becomes an issue not of a business market upset, it's more going to be closer to religion. And I don't know if we're all prepared for that. We live in a different society, but for me, I see this becoming a more deeper conversation than just technology.
That's a great segue, actually, because you said about the storytelling, how we might lose the stories that shape us and our relationships and the people in society. And that's actually what I wanted to share with from Janet's perspective, is kind of the storytelling thing, because I guess my take on that, just to touch on that, we could probably have a whole insane debate up here one day, which we should set up in the future. I know Angela probably has some thoughts too.
I have a few opinions.
All right, so we'll get to those as well, for sure. I don't want to bypass that. But I know even with all these AI tools, I guess what I think is going to separate business people and entrepreneurs and founders from others is the stories we tell and kind of our brand and our identity, which I think leveraging AI as a tool doesn't let you necessarily lose that. But as a storyteller, I know you're an expert on that kind of branding. I would love to hear your perspective on how storytelling is helping to kind of differentiate and give people an opportunity to be themselves.
Well, when I think about AI, the one area where I think it doesn't do a good job is storytelling. So I'm coming from a B2B marketing space, and I know that there's a lot of ideas around the use case for AI and how it can be used in marketing. But I still think, and I know because of the work that I do with AI and my own marketing work, that I don't see the opportunity for storytelling. I don't see it anywhere just yet. I think that it's a very good tool in order to collect data in order to build your story, but it's not ever going, not yet, nowhere near being able to tell the story of a company and how make individuals relate to that company. So a company launches and they solve a business problem, but they need to understand who it is that they're solving the problem for, what are their pain points. And then when they go out in the market, they need that story to resonate, and that's not really the facts and the factoids that are going to do that. It's more around that piece that really helps people to align with that company, to feel, yes, they're saying something about me. And I'll go back to Tech Walk, for example. The fact that, yes, it's a networking group, but it includes the walking piece. Right away, it piques your interest because you're thinking, okay, well, I don't get my steps in, I'm going back to that enough every day. So here I have an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. So when I'm working with companies, I really just don't see the opportunity yet for storytelling. There are some other use cases for it, but not just yet.
Okay, thank you. And of course, I have to let Angela respond as well. We can't skip that.
So, I deeply empathize with the question marks that are around AI. And so, I've spent a lot of time, and our team has spent a lot of time trying to figure out what does this all mean. And so, it's a perspective, it's an opinion, it's just one person's opinion on this. What we've broken it down into is commodity products and output and authentic products and output. And we think, that the AI is good at creating commodity things, whether those commodity things are commodity entertainment, commodity content, commodity stories, commodity images, commodity soon to be videos, an entire Netflix series. And you know, when it's a random Tuesday and you just want something mind-numbing, that to me that falls into this commoditization bucket. My hope, my belief, and kind of how we position the company is that we believe that the AI, that humans will still crave authenticity, and that authenticity, both points, will come from humans. And that I just think that we're not going to move to a world, at least maybe in my lifetime, that all products, all content, all art, everything will move to a highly commoditized and soulless output. And so I think what's going to happen is just going to be a split in consumption types or product types, where you have your commodity stuff that gets generated, lower cost, fast, whatever it ends up being. But then there's going to be a whole class that is deeply authentic, deeply human, that has its rough edges, that is designed with some form of soul. And so why I'm not an AI doomer is only because I just think that products will get split into these two camps, commoditization and authenticity, and that humans will still crave other things made, designed, thought of, inspired by humans. The one thing though that I actually am a little bit slightly doomerish on is this is software. And software is made by humans right now. And the part in which I hope that the people that are designing the software, building the software, deploying the software, make the right decisions as humans on what this software can or cannot do. And that's just the biggest question mark for me, is because if it's designed in such a way that can have negative consequences, that's not good either. And so my hope for other founders out there, for my other fellow peers that are building this stuff, that they make the right decisions, because the future's not set in stone. We're making all decisions today. Our clear stance is we're not going to replace humans. We don't want to support them. That is a philosophical and line decision that we've decided on. We're going to build towards it. And my hope is just that other people take that approach too. But on top of that, I just think we're going to want things made by humans, because otherwise it's just all commodity crap. And like, yeah, it'll be cheap and fast and easy, but like, we still want something that's human driven.
Yeah, 100%. I think about like how people can now make a movie with AI, right? Say you made a movie with like the best actors in the world, and it's all AI, not the actual actors. I wouldn't want to watch it. I still want to watch the movie of the actual people.
So I do think there'll be a big market for that, of just commodity consumption.
Right.
Meaning, like, again, it's a random Tuesday. I just want to be entertained for 15 minutes, but I want a hyper-specific thing. I want anime in Jersey City, focused on a crime drama with, you know, characters named Angelo and Jane. Right? Like, I want that specific thing on a late Tuesday night before bed. And the AI is just going to generate it. But to me, that's just a commodity, mind-numbing product. But on a Friday night, I'm with my family or my wife, and we want an interesting movie that has soul and character. I just believe that humans will still crave some level of authentic design, authentic content, authentic spirit. But there will be times where I just want a mind-numbing, you know, YouTube video that is hyper-specific.
Yeah, exactly. Just whatever's in your head, you can just make it a reality. Awesome. Well, listen, I know we could go on about this for a while. I want to open up to Q&A shortly, but I kind of want to do a final speed round with you guys. A lot of entrepreneurs and founders in the room, and you know, as everyone up here doing very successful work, I know how hard it is for founders and entrepreneurs. I've had successes, I've had failures, and I know it's hard to even go from 0 to 1 sometimes. So for those in the room who are just looking to kind of build something, to network, what advice do you have for them in this day and age of technology and kind of being in rooms like this? Maybe we'll just go down the line on that.
I would say, back to the storytelling, know your story, know your why. If you know who you're reaching out to, why? What is the problem that you're trying to reach? Does it resonate with them? Because sometimes, as founders, you think that it resonates with them, but it really might just not. So you really have to do that customer research and understand what are the triggers that are going to make someone buy a solution, invest in a solution, download an app. There are multiples that you maybe may not be aware of, and while you're close to the solution, it's important to be out there speaking to people and getting to know what it is that they really need.
Couldn't agree more. Angela?
So looking back on the last 10 years, there's obviously a lot of guidance I can give on product market fit, raising capital, hiring teams, scaling teams, firing teams. It's just part of it. But the best advice I can give for someone started out now is resiliency, because over these last 10 years, every morning I wake up, I get punched in the face by something, inevitably. But no matter what it is, even on a really, really good day, even these last 2 days where the whole team's in town, we hit our plan for the quarter, we're ahead on the year, everyone's feeling good. But of course, there's some customer drama, there's some, employee drama, that, my board is calling me asking for updates. There's something inevitably, even on this very happy day that the team's together, something inevitably happens. But my point is, when I look back on these last 10 years, the first 4 years was just me and my co-founder and our credit cards. After that, it was a small team of less than 20 people when we last met 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But even when the company scales and things are different, having a state of resiliency and calming yourself and managing yourself and ensuring that you can navigate all of this in a way that your team can look to you to be successful is super important. So resiliency is just my number one guidance. It may feel super dark on a Thursday, and you may wake up on a Friday and all of a sudden everything is completely changed. And so just keep fighting, don't stop. If you believe in it, just keep going. And it's gonna take way, 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 way longer than you ever think. I thought, we'd be much further along 6 months in, and here I am 10 years later, and it's just, we're still 10 and a half years later, still rock and roll.
But you got that because you didn't give up, right? You keep pushing through.
That's the point, it's resiliency.
Absolutely, yeah. John, over to you.
I would encourage you guys all to consider hiring creative people, whether it be artists or just some sort of creative person. They have more value than just creating content, in my opinion. I do have some strange thoughts as an artist, being in the community, but I do feel like we have a more important role for society than just creating things. Artists have a really amazing way of looking outside the box, identifying assumptions and challenging those assumptions is something I think could be done from the civil level all the way down to startups. I also think it's really important to get creatives in early. Have them in the room, get them at the table. Don't just bring them in to paint the walls after. Those are the type of conversations that I think are really gonna define the future of how we work, in my opinion.
That was excellent. Round of applause, everyone. This is wonderful. Great. And one thing I guess I'll add, just to kind of close the loop on that, from my perspective, I agree with everything everyone up here just said. And also, just one common mistake I've seen with a lot of, I talk to startup founders every single day, and I see so many people that build products and just take a long time building things and just excited about features and they think it's the coolest thing ever, and they just build it in a little echo chamber, and then they find out that no one wants it, and then they just are in trouble for so long. So don't skip the validation part. It's so important. Talk to people. Your rooms like this, if you have a startup idea, just pitch it. Do soft pitches with everyone and just see if people actually want the thing, and listen to what people say. Don't just build what you think in your heart. That's all I'll add to that. But great stuff, everybody. I want to open up to Q&A. We have a lot of really impressive people up here. David, kick us off.
So the big challenge right now with AI is not AI itself. It's that AI is actually being developed by a relatively small group of people who frankly don't give a fuck about anybody in this room. And how are we going to make sure that as it's going ahead and making, like, famous case, they put all the hiring decisions for 20, 30 years of a company into AI, and it made all the same racist, misogynistic hiring decisions that the humans have made for 25, 30 years. How are we going to make sure that we're all protected when AI is doing its right thing, but is being led by people who have that building in Mountain Head? Like, if you've seen that Apple show.
Yes, I've seen it.
If you have not seen that.
I've seen it.
I want to say one thing, and I'm going to pass to Angelo, is that my take, which maybe not everyone agrees with this, is there's always going to be bad people building bad shit and doing bad things. What I like to do is surround myself with people that can build good things that change the world in a positive way. So I know not everyone wants to do that, but the way I see it is lead the charge by building the good thing that you want to see. That's just one take from me, but I'd love to hear from you.
No, building on that was the same decision that we made. So over the last 2 days, when the whole company's together, launched a new website, launched a new brand, and take a clear stake in the ground that we are not trying to build software to remove the jobs in manufacturing. Again, it's our little slice of the world. So I'm going to kind of build up to answer the question. The first part is we just need founders, or it doesn't even need to be founders. There's so many people making decisions about how this tech will or will not be used over the coming years to put humans first. And so, we're only one small piece of the puzzle. Yes, we're in manufacturing and that's like half of the GDP, but our belief system on this, that we're starting to now talk very publicly and hopefully much more aggressively about this, is that we can make decisions as business leaders, but not just business leaders, product managers, engineers, marketing folks, whatever it is. Don't forget about the human and leverage the tools in such a way that can be supportive for the human. Because I don't want to live in a world that, my own kids don't have jobs, that my own daughters are asking me questions, Dad, what the fuck did you do? You automated all of our jobs, you asshole. I don't want that. And now, yes, I at Apprentice, we're only one small little piece of this puzzle. But my hope is that the more we talk about this, at least in manufacturing and hopefully outside of manufacturing, that people will start to make these decisions too. I also think, though, there's going to be, and this is kind of prepping everyone for this, I think there's going to be a boomerang that will happen, meaning right now there's a lot of capital, focus, attention on automate as much as you can, have the AI do everything, fuck those humans. It just is. There's a lot of alignment right now because there is a financial incentive to build companies that are trying to develop this technology to ultimately drive a financial outcome. I just don't think that after we've now spent a lot of time, money, and energy developing the software, it's just not at the point in which it can do all the things that a human can do. Humans are special. They can think, they can make decisions, they can risk weight, they can take action, they can collaborate, they can do all these things. And I just think we're still pretty far off from having the point in which this software can go and completely replace huge swaths of the economy. I think that's fundraising, and don't get me wrong, I love fundraising, and I would say the exact same thing. I think unfortunately that fundraising and financial incentive is leaking into the broader, community, and it's creating more harm than good, because I just hope that people make the right decisions to support the humans, not replace them, because what are we going to do? If you look at Star Trek, for example, I think they do a really good job of defining like a proto-post-scarcity society, and they talk about how these replicators create this level of automation. Again, in my world of manufacturing, I look to that for some level of sometimes guidance to be like, well, what is the future going to look like? But even in that world, you still have roles for people, and they are just doing different things. And just because maybe capitalism declines because there's such an access to goods, people are still forming organizational structures, is still, pursuing goals, whether it's, I'm not going to insert the entire Star Trek, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But I don't know, maybe just because I'm closer to it, I have a different and more optimistic view, and because we've just consciously decided, no, we are not, using AI to replace, we're going to empower, period. That was the decision made. I just hope that there's other founders, engineers, whoever that's using this that take the same stance. So I hope that answers your question.
Wonderful. I'll let Janet jump in here too.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly add that it's true, there seem to be a few people that are driving the development of AI, but at the same time that we're seeing all of this automation, we're also seeing this rise in community. And this rise in this interest in real life, for example, right now. So all is not for naught.
Wonderful, I love that. Thank you. Anything else?
I'll just say, this is just my own speculation, but there's that age-old saying that whatever technology we're using, the government's had for over 10 years. So it really makes me wonder, when we're talking about what are these models going to turn in 10 years from now, how do we know we're not already behind? So just throwing that out there.
I love this panel. Thank you, guys. Anyone else? We have time for a few more, maybe one or two. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the panel. the audience is packed with, and it's no surprise because it's the panel full of wisdom. So considering that AI is one of the many threats we as a generation face right now, there are many problems around the world, wars are going on. I'm curious, what's your take on that planning life, planning next 3, 5, 10 years, from your perspective during the last 10 years? Did you know that you're going to be where you are right now 10 years ago? And how do you approach the future now?
Sure, I guess I'll start. Never thought I'd be doing this 10 years ago. I used to teach archery, like bows and arrows. And I think they thought that was cool, and now I'm the head of this company. So never thought that. As far as 10 years in the future, I am, again, a little bit of a doomer. I'm the type of person who has a bug out bag ready to go. I do suggest you guys at least make a plan with your families. And the only reason I say this is because, God forbid, this gets out of control, the AI problem. There really is only one thing we could do to stop it. Anyone know?
Turn it down.
Pull the plug.
Pull the plug, turn off the power. And if it's so widespread that we can't just contain it, we may have to turn off the power to the planet. That's all I got to say.
So,
Piggybacking off of that, Angela.
so this is going to sound maybe surprising coming from me, but I have a bug out bag too. And I view it as insurance because yes, I clearly am taking a very optimistic lens to this. I just believe we're going to make the right decisions. But I have insurance for everything in case something goes unexpected. And so yes, have I been preparing identically to ensure that I have an entire plan for the family if AI is used specifically for biological concerns, and being in life sciences, I'm maybe closer than others, let's say. And so yeah, I've created an entire plan around it to the downside case in case I'm dead wrong, and I gotta do what I gotta do. So just saying, not totally.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. But so to answer your question though.
It's a very pessimistic future though, but thank you.
Yeah. So I still am very much 99.9% on the AI positive side. I just like insurance. So the point is though, coming back to 10 years to now, we started the company with the same vision, and it's identical 10 years later because we didn't change our values. And yeah, maybe the software has changed, the approach has changed, the features have changed, the team has changed, whatever. But if you are starting a company, if you're joining a company, as long as you stay true to those core values, I think no matter how this technology is going to evolve over the next 10, that will be the guiding principle. Because without a core set of values, which ours are very simple, it's written on the shirt that we want to support the humans, it's just so difficult to be able to navigate the future state of wherever this thing leads. And so my whole belief system is that as long as you stay true to your core values of the company, the mission, the intent, and why you even wake up every morning to do this, no matter how 10 years looks from now, at least you'll be able to have clarity on what you're trying to accomplish and be able to make a right series of decisions, no matter what the next 10 years looks like. And hopefully I never use my bug out bag, but just saying.
I want to say, I guess I'll go on the polar opposite side of things and just say, all right, even though I'm not discounting all these risks, I'm just going to talk about why I love AI. I think it's so great right now. For entrepreneurs, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs in this room. I would just say that, to answer your question first, no, I didn't expect we'd be here technologically in the last 5 years. It all happened so fast. But now a startup founder or someone who wants to start a company can get a product and an idea off the ground quicker than ever, even if they don't have money. Maybe people who never started a company before, don't have the resources. Anyone now can start anything that they think about in their mind. You could do research, you could do marketing plans, you could do financial forecasting. There's so much you can do with this powerful tool at your fingertips too. So I just want to say there's so much available now, and I encourage people to get their hands on it and play with it and leverage it to build whatever future you want for yourself as well. Again, not ignoring the other side of things, but I just want to let everyone know why I love it and I'm optimistic about it and feel good about it in the future. And I know Joe had a question, but I just wanted to see if you had anything you wanted to add as well.
Yeah, I think that that's right. I think that whilst there is this movement towards that, and we could have never expected to have been where we are today with AI, like 3 or 4 years ago. If you would have asked me, I would have been like, no.
Yeah, but what's that?
But at the same time, you know, when you look ahead, I do think that what you mentioned, the mission, the values that you have are going to be the key driver. We're already seeing that. When you speak to people about potential opportunities and jobs, yes, it's table stakes to know how to do your job. They're looking for something deeper, I'm finding, which is how do will you be a fit with the corporate culture? So I think that long-term view is very much in effect when it comes to tech and culture.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to wrap up with Joe here. I saw you raise your hand. You had something you wanted to mention or ask?
Kind of saying something and asking something. But one thing, I do a lot of work with social media over 15 years. I work for a law firm. One thing that I have found, again, going with the storytelling, AI is not really good at empathy. And I found that they can bake the cake, but they can't put the icing on. So I found that that is what my primary job has now turned into, is putting icing on it and, you know, giving it the empathy part. But going along with what you're talking about with AI-generated art and video and things of this nature, and it being commodities or, you know, something authentic, I think we're very quickly going to get to the point where people can't tell the difference. And I think that that's going to lead to a breakdown in reality, where you can see all these things online, you're going on social media, you're being fed these things that you want to see by AI. You don't know if it's true or not, but it's custom tailored for you for whatever you want to think. So I guess my question is, like, what if / when we get to the point where people really can't tell the difference, what then?
That's a tough question, but certainly I think that it's really the critical thinking that is going to kind of drive that forward. Because even today, I mean, we don't even have to look ahead. You know, when you're looking at something in the news, you don't even know which resource to trust, where they got that information, etc. So it's really kind of up to us owning the process and looking deeper beyond what's in front of us to understand if it's authentic or not. And I think that there will be more interest in that, because there's just so much information coming at us, and how do you figure out, okay, well, there's this point of view on what just happened, but is that really what happened?
Any other thoughts you'd like to share?
So I looked to how social media came to rise over the last 15 years, 20 years now. Like, we were not used to consuming and being in a community that is billions of people, right? You know, we were much, as a whole species, we were used to very small communities. Maybe it was, we knew our town, we knew our city, we knew our company, etc. But it took us the better part of a decade and a half to absorb this new technology and social media. Like, how do we coexist in a world in which we have access to 8 billion people online, or whatever the current number is? And so I think the same thing will happen with this next wave. There'll be the initial wave where there's confusion, there's initial questions about harm, there's all of these potential negative or unknown consequences during the first wave. But then you fast forward maybe 2 decades from now, maybe a decade and a half from now, just my thinking at least is we will not only build tools around the difference of these two things, but I think we'll learn, just like we learned with social media, how do we contend with this next evolution in technology. So it's not going to be immediate. I think that's in the order of decades. I think humans, it just takes some time to absorb this type of stuff. And so that's just my thought.
All right. Don't end this on too much.
No, don't worry. It's all positive. It's all positive. I do feel like we're in that section of AI, like the early stages of the internet, the Wild West. I'm sure you guys remember. It was a freedom zone. Browsing the internet, find whatever you want.
Chat rooms.
Yeah, lots of different websites, not just 3 or 4 that you visit constantly. But I'm hopeful that authenticity will make a comeback.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I do feel like we are human-sized, and yet we're constantly being fed information from like a giant planet's worth of humans. You know, we don't do well at that scale. And I don't think innovation happens at that scale. I don't think it's something that can happen over Zoom. I do feel like it's something that involves serendipity to an extent. It's about those chance encounters. It's about having that cup of coffee and hearing somebody else say something. That is a lot of what we do here. It's something I'm very proud of. It's something, the reason I keep coming back here. But that is, I think, the key to that problem, you know, finding a place where you can have those conversations and to feel like you're making a difference, like you're being seen, that people know you, that you're being supported. So for me, co-working is the answer. So thank you guys.
I love it. Well, guys, on that point, you know, there's a lot of tech and a lot of AI out there, but these human connections, like everyone's talking about, are what really drive me. So I'm happy everyone came out tonight and we're having this human connection. We have the place till 8 o'clock, so we can network a little bit more and talk to everyone up here. I encourage you all to connect with each other and make those connections. So thanks for coming out. If you take any footage, tag JC Tech Meetup. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you to the panelists. Thank